All right, so it looks a little better. Decided against tearing it down because all the hardware on this car is standard. I had to bust out these Allen keys. Normally everything is now metric, so I got these cool little drivers and everything. But I don't know, we're just gonna run it as it is. We're gonna see if it breaks, everything breaks. All the suspension feels super free. I ain't completely worried about it. I'm just gonna wipe it down some more with that Maxima SC1, make it look good, and we're just gonna run it. Started doing some paint work here. We got the air cleaner drying, the decking drying. It's turned out pretty good. There's the decking there. And then we started on some blue with the roll cage, sail panels, and roof. So that is drying. I'm gonna do a couple more coats on all of them. We're gonna rip this mask tape off, do the blue on these sides, and we're gonna start kind of cutting stuff out. All right, so one of the first things I'm gonna do, I'm gonna actually cut this bumper down right here and right here. Just gonna get this square, be more scale, and plus I don't want these rubbing up against the body. You used to have mud flaps on these. You could buy them and run mud flaps, which is pretty cool, but we're not longer a short course. We ain't gonna do that. All right, and so there you have it. We cut the side parts off of the bumper. It looks a little better, it looks more scale. But anyways, there's that. All right, so with these RPM revolver wheels, they have a different hub right there. With them, they came with adapters. These are wheelbase adapters as well. So this will be a good tuning option, bumping that left rear out a little further or sucking it back in. I did, after taking this clamping hex off, had to put a couple washers in between that hex and the hub carrier, or else you had some slack. And so once you put the wheel on there and tighten it up, it'll squeeze all this together. You might have a little bit of play, but that's fine. It might even help you out to run a thicker one, but we're gonna see how this works, how I got it set up there. You're probably gonna have to do it on the front too, if you have this style front end as well. This pin is installed incorrectly now that I'm looking at it, but we're gonna take that off and get it right. All right, so it's Friday. We're racing. I might go racing. I might go watch racing at Northwest Florida Speedway tonight. Wish I was racing there. And then I might go watch racing at Tri-County tomorrow. They're racing for $1,000 to win. Pretty good payout throughout the field with these modifieds too. Again, I wish I was racing. But anyways, we're gonna get some work done on this RC car. So it's a mess, but everything's painted and it ought to be dry. I mean, I painted it yesterday. Oh yeah, it's time to start trimming everything out, kind of getting everything mounted together, start poking some holes in some stuff, and see if we can't turn that car there into a modified. It came out looking pretty good. All right, so we got the body and decking kind of cut out. They left you for those MD3 kind of like wheel well panels. I trimmed it to look a little bit more realistic. You know, you run the bigger ones up front and it kind of fades out to a thin line in the back. But it's just a rough cut. Gonna go back through with the Dremel, clean everything up. But it's gonna sit on there like that. You see the bumper back there. Again, this is it's just a rough cut. Well, it's actually gonna be sitting on there kind of like that with the wheel well and everything. So it's coming slowly but surely. This wasn't too bad to cut out. Just kind of fearing the roll cage. I feel like that's gonna be the hardest thing to get cut out and installed. But when I do mount this thing, I think we're gonna kind of skew it a little bit. We're gonna have it a little bit off center line of the car. Kind of a little bit like this. I don't know. We'll play around with it. Might have a couple different holes. See how it all mounts up together. Yeah, let me chop out those and I'll get right back to you. Alrighty, nose is a little rough trimmed out. Don't know really what I'm supposed to do here with, if I'm supposed to zip that off and get it mounted onto here. Fitment issues, maybe I might need to trim this stuff out right here to get it fixed. I think this all gets bolted together. I gotta look at the instructional pictures they have on their Facebook page, but it's starting to look like something. Just need to get get the roof and roll cage cut out next. All right, so it's coming along. So this actually gets mounted on that piece right there, putting this sail panel a little bit long. They did that, I believe, for the spoiler. So I just need to chop that. I need to go through and retrim up this stuff if it looks like crap. But that's a rough look at this thing. Looks pretty sharp, I'd say. Now, with the mold, you can see these like lines right there. I think that's from the vacuum bag. But most people actually cut these sail panels out. I don't know. It's up to the owner's discretion, whoever is putting this together. But I'm leaving them full like an IMCA car. Now, just need to do the tedious roll cage. You gotta be careful with this. So you have a sun visor built in right there with that line. Same thing on this side. The back, you just trim out the roll cage, and yeah, it's getting ready to get ugly, I think. But we'll see. We'll see how this comes out. I'm kind of really reluctant to cut this out, but who knows? If I mess it up, it ain't that big a deal. I can just make one out of Lexan to help support the roof so it's not flopping back and forth. But everything's a rough cut for now, and we're gonna get to sanding everything once it's all done. All right, so I'm gonna call the video here. The body's pretty much done. I just need to bolt everything together, put electronics in, and then it's pretty much race ready. I did go get some sheet metal yesterday. I got some flat black sheets and some blue sheets to do the body on the 1-to-1 scale modified. But this thing, I think it's turned out pretty good. Just need to do a little bit more trimming. I got to sand everything down, kind of retrim this stuff up, and just make sure it looks good before I bolt everything together. Cage came out pretty good. Just looking at pictures, I need to pretty much put a bolt in right here. You kind of like put a bolt in at every kind of bar. You leave a little bit of space. I mean, these are like little M1 screws that you use on this thing. So I think it's coming out looking pretty cool. Pretty scale, which is what I like, especially if we'll be running them on there. But the next video y'all see will be us bolting the body together, putting all electronics in, and setting it up.